We are up here at the last segment, the steel segment. Stitch, team underdog. He's not the underdog. He's kind of a dog. He's the new dog, right? When you play this character, deal 2 damage to chosen character. We saw something like this in set 2 with a beast. It was a 4-cost inkable 3/4 with 1 lore that dealt 1 damage. The difference between 1 and 2 is pretty great as far as damage being dealt. Kills a Diablo versus not killing a Diablo. So there's some points for it there. Being uninkable, though, is a huge strike against it. However, I don't think it's worth the gap there. I'm going to move on with the 1 here. I don't see this seeing play. I thought there was a potential chance for it seeing play if needed, but don't need to. All right. I'm going to have fun rattling people. I think this card's really good. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Dies to whatever the heck you want to call it. Dies to all the ruby stuff. Don't care. Don't say it. Don't want to hear it. If this doesn't die, none of your things can be challenged. And you could say, oh, they can charge something that's big. Great. Fantastic. What if I play this on turn 4, which is not unrealistic? You can play Gaston from set 3 and then immediately play this. Like, oh, they can just brawl it. I'm like, you mean they didn't brawl my Gaston? Like, if that situation plays out, they would have brawled the Gaston, not this. Yeah, and then they can't challenge the Gaston. Then I can play more things off it. And the Mother Gothel from set 1 is the 6-cost 3/6. When it's exerted, your opponent can't quest. It's something you can potentially play this with. If your opponent can't quest while that's exerted and they can't challenge anything that's 4 or less, they need something that costs 5 to get through that Gothel to do anything. And imagine you have a bodyguard in play or a Tiana in play, and they can't do anything like that. There's all these things that really restrict like what you can essentially lock your opponent out of doing. And I don't think people realize how many decks have so few things that can actually challenge with this in play. Like with Green Steel, they had Beast and Robin Hood. That's like it, right? Maybe some of them played Cricky, maybe some of them played Tinkerbell, but it's few and far between, and neither of those cards really actually take care of this. Cricky makes other things take care of it, but impossible to deal with. Against any non-Ruby deck, this card will be a nightmare to play against. And against Ruby decks, you know what you can do? Shocker. You can just ink it, because it's inkable. No, I think this card's fantastic. This one's getting a 4. I don't care what you guys say. This card's, I think it's very strong. One of the cards I'm going to be picking up on day 1 to try and play with. This card's fantastic. It's just... I just don't think people realize how much they challenge with cheap things, and they rely so heavily on the removal that they just claim to always have, where you play so many games and that just doesn't happen all the time. You might seem like it because we're really poor at remembering things when things go well for us as far as the person who's questing. We always remember more the fact that our opponent had the brawl when we didn't want them to, more so than the times that they didn't. And again, they have to have it. What if they're just not playing Ruby? Like, I don't know what to tell you. This card's good. Again, it can't get really much higher than that as far as rating goes. 5s barely happen. I don't think there's any 5s in the set, unfortunately. So for rating scale, I'm just going to go ahead and say that. We've been at this point, people are like, oh, which one's the 5? There are no 5s in the set. I don't think that's the case. I don't think Naveen's a 5. I don't think anyone has a 5. They're close, but Jafar is very good. And I would be surprised if it was not one of the more expensive cards in the set. And if it's not, I will own 4 before you do. Moving on. Simba, when it banishes something in a challenge, you can draw a card. Yeah, we saw Jafar, 4-cost 3/4 do the same thing. That was mostly played because it was a Floodborn to pair with Bucky or Blue Fairy. This one could see play. 2 because it's potential, not a 1 because it's not unplayable, but not thrilled. I love this card, but it's still going to get actually a 1, even though it's a 2/2, and most of the other 2/2s get something. Most of the other 2/2s are shift lines. This one's not. We're done with these. We're done with these being impactful in any way. Every color has as many as they feel like they want to. Yeah. Royal Guard. Yeah, 1. I like the 1s here. These are easy. Keep going through these. We'll be done in a minute. All right. Interesting. 1 cost 1/2 with resist 1. All right. Underestimating him is a recipe for disaster. Oh, I get the pun. Yeah, it's a recipe. He's a food fight defender. Anyway, I don't know what to do with this card yet. There's no Mickeys that are really good shift-wise. There's the Steel Mickey from set 4 that cares about brooms and stuff. There's no rooms in this set, which is a disappointment for Yen Sid enjoyers. But I don't know what to make of this card yet. It could be really good or really bad. It's going to get a 2 for right now because it's slightly better than... Is it slightly better than a 1/3 for 1? Kind of, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this card. I can't figure it out. And I think it could be good, but it's not great. Obviously against AoE removal, it's pretty sturdy and stuff, but who knows? Got a lot of stuff to go through here. Bodyguard 0/4. No. Kronk, everyone's favorite. So in set 1, we saw Prince Eric, the 2-cost 1/3 with Challenger 2. Sorry, yeah, 1/3 Challenger 2 come up. This is a 2-cost 1/4 Challenger 1. So it doesn't challenge for as much, but it has 1 more health. Kind of good, I think. I'm not giving this much higher than a 2, but it could see play. It could fit into a niche situation. 4 willpower is enough to make it so that it makes it different enough from other cards that we've seen in the past fill this role. Specifically in context of healing with Rapunzel. 4 willpower is something to be sought after. Not saying we'll see a ton of play, but it has the room to grow, and the shift line that it comes up with could be worth exploring. No one's ruling this guy out, though. Who's the boat snack now, indeed? This guy is chonky. The set championship, not set championships, the DLC Dallas, I think second place had Nani in it. There's which is the Amber 3/5 or 3/6 for 5 that had bodyguard. So this is a 4/5 for 5 with bodyguard. So it's -1 willpower, +1 strength. You can't count these cards out. They're vanilla. They're not great, but it's decent stats. 2.5 because it's a boat snack, but stats do matter, and this is close to good enough for that line, as we clearly have seen. So yeah, I like Hey Hey. Hey Hey almost in every color now, right? I think so. 4-cost 3/4 when you play a character chosen knight gets Challenger 2. Nope. Most of the dwarves are not great. When you play this character, if you're a knight and character, deal 1. Nope. I'm gonna move on from these ones here. All right. Wow, I can't read that language. So let's see. It is a rare. Okay, cool. For each opposing chosen character that was banished in a challenge, you may pay 2 less, so this character has resist 3. Ugh. All right, I think this one's the worst one. Which one did I say the worst ones before? I think it was I thought it was the Robin Hood until I properly read it. But this thing really needed to be reduced by 3. I mean, you have to challenge and kill 2 things, and then this gets to be 5-cost 5/5 with the resist, which is arguably more difficult than just shifting a Cinderella with a Cinderella and you get a better card. I'm putting this in the 1.5 to 1 range. Yeah, this is not good. Yeah. Yep. Maybe they should have made that one inkable just to have it be potentially good. And Snow White Natural Leader gains a bunch of resist points. I think this is worse than the Piglet from the previous set, the legendary. If you have a super knight based deck, maybe, but all the knights we've seen are just not good. Potential, but not. I'm not thrilled. Yzma, Unjustly Treated. So 4-cost 1/4, so it's like Tiana stats, but doesn't resist. Whenever your character banishes a character in challenge, you can deal 1 to a chosen character. This basically gives Challenger +1. I feel like it can damage upright things. It's not the worst. I'm gonna give it a 2 because maybe. I mean, it can deal 1 damage to any character when you kill something. So maybe you can trade 2 things in, then kill something with 2 health left over. Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. Kronk. We saw the Kronk we had earlier. That's only really shiftable one. So it's a 6-cost, or it's a 7-cost 6/6. When you banish another character in a challenge, you can play a character with 5 or less cost for free. This is kind of cool. It's gonna 2.5. It's not amazing. It's fine. And right now there's nothing to cheat into play that is really good. It really has to be pretty value. And the best thing I can think of to do with this card is honestly just putting a Rapunzel to play to immediately have healed it. So that's the best thing I could think of. Talking about the other Kronk with Rapunzel. So yeah, this could be good there. I wish it had more lore, or it was a 6/7, so it survived Maui to be good. Yeah, I don't know. But nothing really to cheat and play that really matters. I had to play something that costs 5 or less, though. I mean, it's asking a lot. All right, so whenever your knight is at a location, that character gains resist 2. During your turn, this character is evasive. Okay, this one's the reasonable one, right? One of them. So it's a 3-cost 3/1 that has evasive on your turn. And if it's at a location, it gets resist 2. So that's okay-ish. I'm not sold. I know we'll get to the location they'll go to in a little bit, but no, it's a 2. What are you doing, kitty? Pete, Wrestling Champ. Real top card of your deck. If it's a Pete, you may play it for free. I don't think there's enough Petes, but if there is, potentially, it could be good. 2 stars is fine. Potentially to be good, but right now not so much. What is this guy's name? Sir Ector, Lord of the Castle. Was this from Robin Hood? Yeah, no. Anyway. So you have Snow White in play against nope. More nopes. High nope, and off to the woods we go. Oh, it's Sword in the Stone. Okay, cool. Arthur. This is getting a 2. It's a 2/2 that quests for 2, so it's getting a 2. Too many 2s to care. Yeah, we'll see the shift target in a minute. Fine body, not ideal. It's okay enough to play for sure. 2.5, 2. It's not thrilling. Nothing really to talk about vanillas. They're kind of boring. This one's okay. One costs 2/1. Challenges evasives. This one's a solid 2, I think. This one just takes out Diablo. It's cheap. It can trade. It can help trade against Archimedes, anything else does like that, or Pegasus if it hasn't shifted yet. Yeah, fine card. Happy to play happy sometimes. Wish it was a hero, but you know. Finally, we have it. What is this? Son of Mufasa, Simba. Yes, okay. Shift, and when you play it, you banish a item or location. So similar to the Cusco, which is also odd. They're both 6 cost 3/5. That when you play them, you banish an item or location, basically. Lower rarity, but it has shift. This is the first shift Simba we've seen. There are a lot of shift targets for Simba, namely the 1 and the 2 cost from set 1 that are in amber and steel. Some of the other ones are more expensive down the road. This thing's fine. It's solid 3. It might be overshadowed by the fact that Cusco has an additional lore pip, and also the fact that putting a Lucky Dime into the Inkwell is much better than destroying it against Tamatoa, although it's worse against Mufasa, so you have to make that choice for yourself. But yeah, it's a solid card. I don't mind it. I like that there's more ways to deal with locations too. Doc. All right, so the actual good dwarf, the good one. Yeah, this one's cool. It's a 2 cost uninkable. That sucks. But 1/3 also not great. When you play this, you may discard your hand to draw 2 cards. I think we're trying to figure out the right deck for this, but I think there is one that exists. It's going to get a role player 3. I wouldn't say it's much more than that, but it's cool. I like that this card exists, and it could be very good to. And you play this with a super aggressive steel deck. Empty your hand, play this to refill a little bit, not having to discard anything, and then maybe you draw into an ink, and then another one of these, and you play that out too, and you end up with 2 cards. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's a fine card. It's not amazing, but the uninkable part a little bit rough, but the fact that it's a May kind of makes up for that too. So yeah, I'm excited to see this, see what comes of it. Solid card. Arthur. So we saw the shift target for Arthur, the 2/2 for 2. This card bad. 1.5. This is like worse than Cinderella, like in every instance. Cinderella's inkable. I'm talking about Stout-Hearted, the one that's promotional card at all the DLCs, the 5/5 with resist 3. This one does not actually have resist. This one cannot challenge ready characters. It gives a one-time effect to something. It can target itself, of course, when you shift into it. But Cinderella is resist 3 all by itself, has a more durable strength line, and has the same amount of lore, and shifts for the same amount, and its character you shift onto is way better than the other one. I would be shocked to see this play. It's only getting a 2 in any capacity because it's a cool card. Cool looking. Yeah. I would still rather top deck the Cindy every time. All right. I lied. I forgot I lied. I'm such a liar. I said there's nothing that's going to get a 5. This does not get a 5. This does get a 4.5, though. This is the best card in the set. This is by far the best card in the set. This is not close to the best card in the set. This is the best card in the set. This is going to change how we have to play and or build our decks, and how insane closing a game can come by just chaining this card. This card is just the best card in the set. There's not much to say other than that. It will go into any deck that has steel. It is problematic in decks that can repeatedly use its effect, like Amethyst Steel. It is really good in decks like Amber Steel because it can prevent them from playing Be Prepared and go completely wide. It is good in Green Steel because it protects Diablo. It is good in Ruby Steel because, well, that deck doesn't do anything anyway, so it doesn't really exist. Sapphire Steel, maybe. They don't really care too much about actions as much as characters being played have to deal with. But this is the best card in the set, and I'm thrilled that it's an uncommon. Otherwise, this would be very expensive. But this is going to be the most expensive foil in the set. I really hope, since they've shown that they've done some uncommons, like the King Candy's enchanted, I hope this is an enchanted, because it'll be the most enchanted in the set, baby. But yeah, this card's incredible. We've not seen anything like this. It is a scary card to exist, and I'm excited to see how much it changes our deck building, because it will. It has to. We can't just solely rely on actions to deal with everything. We talked about cards that are vulnerable to cards like Brawl or things like that, or Medusa. Sure, like Medusa, then it looks even better because it's something that doesn't get shut down by Pete. It can kill Pete. Killing Pete doesn't really matter, but yeah, this is all you need to really win the game, and Pete's the best card in the set. So yeah, 4.5. It's not quite one of the top cards in the game. It's close. It's definitely in the top 20 cards in the game for sure. It's probably maybe not quite in the top 10, maybe close to the top 10, probably top 10. But yeah, this is just the best card. It's incredible. I'm scared. Yeah. Blah. Moving on. Tug of War. Pass. Nope. Maybe because it's inkable. It's it's not good. Interesting. Stopping things from challenging is kind of cool. You can kind of like sing this with the Cinderella on turn 1 against a 1-drop, so they can't challenge into your Cinderella just to draw a card. It could see some play. It draws a card, and it's a defensive card in situations where you might need to be defensive. Don't know. But it draws a card, so it's playable, I guess. All right, Duck for cover. I see what you did there. Chosen character gains resist and evasive this turn. Really weird. I don't think this is very good at all. As a song, it could be good. I would have kind of liked to see it as a song, but obviously it's not a song thematically, but it doesn't really do enough. I don't know. Not a fan. I'm disappointed by this card. I thought this was... I didn't see this one here where it says you have to... I thought essentially it was 1 cost, your character's gain, tap, deal 1 damage to a chosen character. That sounds obviously better, right? But think about Strength of Raging Fire. That's 3 costs to deal, essentially makes all your characters deal 1 to something. That's what it does. But that one doesn't require you to exert them. This one does. I would have thought that this card would have been fine without the tap clause to the dealing damage. That would have been okay for me. Or making this card inkable and having the tap clause. And the one additional cause would have been fine. But the fact that it's none of the above, this is a 1. Maybe it's okay in limited, but I doubt it. I don't think too much about limited these days, or ever. Shield of Arendelle. Banish this item, chosen character gets resist. If you really need to protect something, that's fine, but otherwise, nope. Plate armor. We saw Mickey Mouse's armor in set 2 be essentially this, but resist 1, which didn't ever really see play. This is pretty much similar. There are more interest items, so a card like this won't ever take over a game, but 1.5, probably a nightmare for limited play, honestly. It could be really hard to kill someone through that, but I don't see it happening. Steel Commander on. That's way too much for anything I would ever want to play. 1 and get out of here. We're winding this down. We're almost done, peeps. Badanon. The 3 cost 2/7. 1 lore. Your villain characters gain exert. Pay 3. Play a character with the same name for free while here. So like a steel location, like there's not a lot of them that are playable really. Like, the ones we've seen are bad. Like they don't have lore. They don't do anything. Like this is the 3rd set we've seen, and this is like not good for what it does, but might be good enough for just the fact that it's 3 lore, or 3 cost 3, has 7 willpower, and has 1 lore. The other part of the text might not be relevant, but it might be good enough just as a passive lore gain. Giving it a 2. Not excited by this one. Maybe there's enough villain stuff going on eventually, but not excited off the bat here. But 2 cost, 1 lore, 2/6. 7 Dwarves Mine, Secure Fortress. So whenever you move character here for the first time each turn, you may deal 1 to a chosen character. If it's a knight, deal 2 damage instead. This one's cool. Okay, 2 costs, big difference than 3. A card like John Silver is pretty cool, moving stuff around and cares about locations and is in steel. I'll give this card a 3. I get to end on a high note with locations. This might be one of the better ones. The best one's probably the library. I think the amethyst one, but this one's good too. The knights might make an appearance there. There's a couple other knights in the game. It's the Sapphire 4-cost Anna from set 4, and then the 2-cost 2/2 Cinderella that draws and discards when you play it from set 2. Those are also knights in addition to whatever else we have in this set that are playable. And maybe this thing can do things. I mean, you combine this with all the Robin Hood cards that then you've dealt 1 damage to something, and now you can pay 1 and deal 2 to them to shoot them all down. That could be something. There might be some kind of steel emerald locations, knights, damage kind of thing mattering. Yeah, so this could be played. It's kind of cool. I like that it works with the knights pretty well, and yeah, I'm not opposed to just seeing a 2-cost 1 lore character or 1 lore location that has 6 willpower. That could be good enough just to get John Silver going, which is always a card to keep an eye on whenever you see a new set. 3-cost 3/3 that has resist and buffs for each of those is pretty great. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see it, and I'm excited to see how this whole set plays out. That was all the cards from the set, so we're done with the whole thing. I thank you guys for joining me here on YouTube, and see you guys next time when we get another set coming around, or we do another video. I'm sure we'll do one shortly when it comes to new brews and stuff for set 5. So thanks a bunch.